The hallway smelled faintly of disinfectant, must, and decay. Even after all these years, the old hospital had its own scent, a memory that clung to the peeling wallpaper and rusted handrails. I waited just around the corner, heart racing, and watched as the visitor crept nervously along the cracked linoleum floor. It only took a moment. A scream, high and sharp, echoed down the corridor. They stumbled backward, tripping over a discarded gurney. I stepped out from the shadows, letting the candle flicker of the old emergency light catch my face, just enough to breach the shadows. Their breaths came in ragged gasps as they spun on their heels and ran for the end of the hall. And I grinned. This is why I return every year. Every single year. The thrill of it, the timing, the perfect scare. It never grows old. Most of the seasonal staff don't last beyond their first Halloween season. New faces, eager but naive, think they can handle it. Some even whisper about me in the break room, awed, afraid, a little jealous. I hear them, but I never answer. I'm always elsewhere, focused, dedicated, perfecting every flicker of light, every groan of the floorboard, every shadow that moves just slightly too fast. The hospital has its secrets. Old patient rooms with rusted beds, stairwells that groan in protest when anyone dares to climb them, narrow corridors that seem to stretch forever. This is my playground. I know every corner, every hidden nook. The average employees may avoid the attic or the sub-basement, but I move there with ease. Every sound, every breath, every startled heartbeat, it's music to me. Every corner of this place has its own rhythm, its own secret for those who know it well. I've memorized it all, the squeak of a floorboard near the old X-ray room, the way the light from the emergency exit flickers just right down the hall, the soft moan of a ventilation shaft that makes a whisper sound like a scream. Timing is everything. I have my favorite spots. The abandoned nurses' station is perfect for a jump scare. The visitor rounds the corner, expecting nothing, and suddenly a shadow moves just as they pass the peeling counter. The old operating theater is my pride. Dim overhead lights, rusted instruments, the faint smell of antiseptic still clinging to the walls. If I step lightly, the echo of my shoes alone can make them freeze in place, waiting for something that isn't there, and that's when I strike. Some areas are trickier. The stairwell near the west wing creaks unpredictably, which can ruin a scare if I'm not careful. But when it works, oh, it works beautifully. A single step, a whispered groan, and a visitor freezes halfway down the stairs, their pulse echoing in the hollow walls. I watch, savoring every second, and sometimes I have to bite my lip to keep from laughing. The new employees watch me sometimes, curious and cautious. They have questions. How does he make that shadow move like that? Or, where do I vanish to after slipping back into the shadows? I smile, never offering an answer. I let them figure it out for themselves. Part of being good at this job is understanding the house in a way that can't always be taught. Props are another layer of my craft. I arrange them carefully, anticipating how a visitor will react. A rusted gurney, tipped just so, can create a sound that sets hearts racing before I even appear. A swinging door, a flickering light, a dangling IV line. I know exactly how to use these tools. And then there's the anticipation. Nothing compares to waiting in the darkness as footsteps approach, knowing that any moment, a scream will pierce the stillness. That moment when a visitor realizes they're not in control. That's why I do this. That's why I come back every year. Because no matter how many times I've done it, it never grows old. Over the years, a parade of faces has come and gone through these halls. Some left after a night or two, scared themselves by the very house they were supposed to manage. Some stayed a season, learned a trick or two, then vanished without a word. And a few had real talent. I remember Marcy, who could make a visitor jump with nothing but a whisper and a flicker of light. She had a timing that was almost surgical, precision in every movement. And then there was Danny, who discovered the joy of using the old gurneys in the West Wing. He could send a group of teens screaming down the hall without even touching them. I respected their skill, truly. Those were the nights when the air in the hospital felt electric, and you could almost hear the laughter of the house itself. The new employees, though, they're a different story. Watching them find their footing is endlessly entertaining. There's always one who hides behind the nurse's station, forgetting to check if the visitor is still coming. Or the one who swings the swinging door a bit too early, scaring themselves more than anyone else. I often stifle a laugh, careful not to give away where I am. They fumble, they whisper to each other, They try desperately to carve out their own style, and some of them actually surprise me. A creative scare, a clever twist on a classic, those are the moments I can't help but nod to in silent approval. It's strange, the way I watch them. There's a rhythm to learning this place, a rhythm to understanding fear. And while I may be years ahead in experience, I never forget the thrill of the first scream, the first perfect scare. The rookies may not know it yet, but that moment, when a visitor freezes and your shadow dances across their imagination, is everything. I move through the hospital like a silent judge, appreciating talent when I see it, amused by fumbling attempts, and quietly helping them understand the essence of what we do. There's an unspoken camaraderie, even if they don't know my thoughts. They become part of the season's story, and so do the ones who have left. The hospital keeps the memory of every scream, every clever trick, every little mistake, and I remember them all. The others laugh together in the break room. I can hear them sometimes through the thin hospital walls, sharing sodas, trading ghost stories, practicing jump scares on each other. It sounds nice, in its way, but I've never joined them. I tell myself it's because I'm dedicated, because I can't afford to break character. And maybe that's true, or maybe I just prefer the quiet of the halls when everyone else has gone. It isn't that I dislike them. I watch them, study them, even admire them when they find their stride. But I've never been one for chatter or small talk. My craft requires silence, patience, and intimacy with the dark corners of this place that they simply don't understand. To be part of the crowd would mean losing something, an edge, a focus. And so, I stay apart. Some of them whisper about me, I know. I've caught fragments of it in passing. Have you seen him? It's unreal. I swear he was there 1 second and gone the next. It's like he is part of the hospital itself. I smile at that one. If only they knew how close they were to the truth. They don't understand how much the house gives you, if you're willing to listen. The groans of the stairwell, the rattle of pipes, the sigh of wind through broken windows, all instruments waiting to be played. Most of them charge through the halls in clumsy costumes, banging on walls, shouting until their voices are hoarse. Me, I don't need theatrics. A single shadow at the right time, a whisper in the wrong ear, a flicker of movement at the edge of sight, and that's all it takes. It can be lonely, yes. Nights stretch long when you're the only one willing to haunt the deeper holes. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Isolation is the price of perfection, and I've paid it gladly. Because in those moments when the visitors scream, when their fear echoes down the corridors of this old hospital, I know I've done it right. And that is enough. That is everything. The season ends the same way it always does. The laughter dies down, the props are boxed up, the bright banners torn away. The others pack their bags, hugging each other like family, promising to stay in touch before scattering back to lives beyond these halls. I watch them go. I don't wave. I never do. The building grows quiet again, my kind of quiet. Dust settling, shadows lengthening, the heartbeat of the old hospital thudding beneath its cracked floors. It is in this silence that the truth always returns, as steady and familiar as my own breath. This is not a job for me. It never was. When I took this job, the hospital had only just closed. The walls still smelled of disinfectant, and the beds hadn't yet rusted through. They needed someone to frighten, someone who could slip into the bones of the place and make it live again. I stepped forward, and I never stepped back. Decades have passed since then, though the visitors never seem to notice. They see only what they expect to see, a performer, committed and skilled, someone so immersed in their role they forget to break character. That is my gift, my curse. No one asks why I never change, why I never age, why my name is never on the payroll. The others come and go, cycling through like patience once did. But I remain. The walls know me, the dark knows me, the fear that hangs in the air is mine to command. And when the lights are switched off, when the doors are chained shut for another long year, I do not leave with them. I never leave. This is my hospital, my stage, my grave. And so, when next October comes, I will rise again from the shadows, don my mask, and walk the halls, waiting for the moment someone new stumbles too close. And when they do, I will be there. Not pretending, never pretending, just haunting. Always haunting. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. If you enjoyed the story, please give this video a like. It helps the shadows gather and the whispers spread. Drop a comment below and tell me what country you're watching from. I'd love to know where our watchers dwell. And don't forget, to hit that subscribe button. We're striving to bring the cult together, and our first 100 subscribers are the beginning of something extraordinary. And remember, the cult loves you.